Morning, all. So there's some pretty big news coming out of the National Hockey League today as Corey Crawford has decided to retire. Now, of course, it's a New Jersey Devils icon next to this news article, but I'm wearing Blackhawks because that's the only jersey he wore in actual NHL games. Corey Crawford, it's interesting because I've had conversations with subscribers over the last couple of years on whether or not I felt Crawford should continue his career due to all the concussions he was dealing with and the length of time he was out with concussions. In his statement, he basically says he's given all he can to hockey. He basically doesn't have anything left. And so it explains why he was suddenly gone from the team. And now there's talk of Wedgwood being the backup in Colorado. And this also, I might add, vindicates the Chicago Blackhawks in their decision not to bring Corey Crawford back, which was criticized at the time. That Chicago likely knew this was a good possibility, and they didn't want to, go out, spend that money, make that plan, and then have him do what has happened now with New Jersey. So again, it kind of does vindicate Chicago in their how they handled this. I understand that there were veterans that weren't happy to see Crawford go, but now he has retired. Matthew Barzal signs a 3-year deal with New York Islanders. Yes, that's the second biggest news of the day is Barzal finally signing a contract. It's for $21 million. Now, they're over the cap. They have to put Boychuk on LTIR, and then they can officially sign Martin, Green, and Schneider. All three are signed. It's just not official yet because cap reasons. So they're still trying to move money out. They need to move some money out. However they find to do that, they'll have to do it because they've got Barzal signed now, which was the big one, but they've got those other depth pieces as well. They want to officially make New York Islanders as soon as possible. So kudos to them for getting the Barzal deal done. And here we go. The Islanders are pretty well at full strength, and I say that because they haven't officially signed Martin and Green yet. And of course, Corey Schneider's going to be the number 3 goaltender, right? So yeah, good news for Barzal and good news for Islander fans. And at a $7 million cap hit, that's very reasonable for Matthew Barzal, honestly. And I know the contract is a rapid escalator one where it's 4, 7, and then 10. And I would think his asking price will be $10 million a year to start with at the end of that contract. But they've kicked that down the road now 3 seasons. Florida made some news today. They released Scott Darling from a professional tryout, and a lot of players are going to get released from professional tryouts. And they also claimed Gustav Forsling from Carolina. Keep in mind, Carolina is a division rival. So they helped themselves. They hurt a division rival a little bit in that Forsling was a piece that clearly Carolina was able to lose and not be too concerned with since they put him on waivers. And the Ducks have lost Christian Juice to Detroit on waivers. I was really surprised to see Christian Juice on the waiver wire. I'm not surprised that the Detroit Red Wings, who remember, as the team that finished last in the season, or last in the standings last season, they get the first claim. So they can put in the claim first, and they did that with Christian Juice. And I don't blame him. He's a good addition. If he ends up being the number 7 for Detroit, that's okay. If he ends up in the top 6, I don't think that hurts him either. So, yeah, that's a solid addition by the Detroit Red Wings as Steve Yzerman continues to, piece by piece, put together the team that he wants. And we'll see how Juice does with the Detroit Red Wings. The Calgary Flames have signed Brett Ritchie to a professional tryout, which tells me they're probably going to sign him. I don't see a reason in bringing a guy in on a tryout 4 days before the regular season starts unless you're going to keep him around. So Brett Ritchie hopefully finds his home with Calgary. He may be one of these taxi squad guys. And for the record, I do believe that before you put somebody on the taxi squad, you have to put them on waivers because they make their minor league money when they're on the taxi squad. So, yeah, for Ritchie, it's a professional tryout. Good luck to him with that. In WHL news, they're planning a 24-game season. Now, it gets a little dicey after that. They don't have a start date yet. They still have to get the okay from the different jurisdictions to start playing games and to figure out how to make this work. But they're planning a 24-game season. Now, I'll be interested to see how it works. I'll be interested to see when they get the clearance to do that, because the WHL spans multiple provinces. They wouldn't be able to do the same things that the NHL does. The NHL has a much easier time of helping players stay distant, keeping them safe, than the WHL would. Now, again, with the WHL, you're talking about younger players and kids, but they're also their kids with families, billet families, and so the whole thing gets dicey from there, right? So they're planning a 24-game season. They're committed to providing a 24-game season. They just don't know when it's going to start. May not know what it's going to look like. Might we end up with some kind of a bubble scenario? Maybe. I just don't know where you would do that in Western Canada with the WHL. There's enough teams that it would be a relative logistical nightmare as it was. And again, they do not have the kind of money that the NHL does, that the IHF does. So it's a little bit more difficult for the WHL to figure that out. But here's to hoping that gets done and we get a WHL season, because for NHL teams and for their scouts, having a season for all these junior leagues like the WHL, the OHL, the QMJHL, this is your key metric that you're using with your scouting in order to figure out who's going to get drafted where. This year's draft is going to be insane. Because, 24-game season, guaranteed there's going to be somebody who has a terrible 24-game run. They drop in the draft, and then they figure it out. And then the next thing you know, we're talking about 2021 draft and all the steals that were to be had in it. So, WHL at least has some sort of a plan. They just don't have a start date. Columbus went through some sort of a scare, and most of the players are back on the ice today. So the shutdown didn't last, and now Pittsburgh is doing the exact same thing. Practice canceled, stay tuned. And I don't know if this is a false positive situation, which happens. That's why generally with sports you get a positive test back and then you wait for the second test, just in case there's a false positive, especially the rapid testing. So it's possible that that's what happened with Columbus. They're not really saying anything about it. But now with Pittsburgh, they're saying the same thing. Out of an abundance of caution, we are calling off our practice. Their scrimmage game tonight's been canceled, although tomorrow night's scrimmage game still shows on the schedule. So Pittsburgh going through what Columbus went through yesterday. We'll find out tomorrow what their status is. But so far, the only team that's been confirmed to get shut down through positive tests is Dallas. So, we'll see. We'll see how this turns out. But it's going to be a thing. It's going to happen. This is how the 2021 season's going to roll, and you just roll with it. I wanted to end this on a good note, so I will. Gostis Bears had a rough run. He has. With Alain Vigneault, it's been clearly hit and miss. Right now, it seems to be a hit. Ghost is on the first pairing with Provorov for Philadelphia, and that'd be, I would think, good news to Philly fans that Ghost is being given a chance. Remember, it was Niskanen paired with Provorov last year, helped to elevate his game, and maybe playing with Ghost, maybe Ghost finally getting that opportunity again. Who knows? Maybe a great pairing. So there you go. We're 4 days out. It's very little time that the New Jersey Devils had to plan for things with the exit of Corey Crawford, but I think that's why Wedgwood was there. I think that's why New Jersey has the depth that they do in goaltending. I would think Gilles Sen probably stays as the number 3 goaltender, but we'll see what they do. Maybe they bring in Jimmy Howard on a tryout and see what he's got and sign him to a league minimum contract if he's interested in that. There are other goaltenders out there. There's other chances and opportunities to be had. So we'll see what they do. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below as always. Don't forget to hit like and subscribe if you're browsing your way through and just happened upon this video. Thank you guys so much for watching, for all your support. I will talk to you again soon.